Hey everybody, my name is Steph Koza and let's talk about Venom! Alright, so I just want to preface this video by telling you that I went into the movie Venom with very low expectations, as I'm sure everyone is going to do. I was like, oh, I'm crossing my fingers, I hope, like, maybe there's a chance it could possibly be a little bit good, but the trailer just didn't really sway me. It didn't look that great. There was a lot of weirdness going on. It looked like it was going to be really angsty. Also, it has a 30% on Rotten Tomatoes. So that's not great. That's not great going into this movie with that in my mind. And I also want to preface this review by saying I don't like to review movies as a film critic. I don't really see myself as like a hoity-toity critic who's gonna like look at every fine detail and like judge its merit based on silly things that like normal people don't even think about. I like to review movies as a fan, as a person, as a normal human being, which is hopefully why you guys subscribe to my channel, because I don't know, that's what I'm going for. So as a critic, this movie is like not super great, but as a fan of Venom, as a fan of movies, as a person, I thought this movie was so good. Like, it very obviously has a lot of flaws, but I had so much fun the entire time that I literally don't even care about the flaws because it was so fun. I had such a blast watching this. I'm a big fan of Tom Hardy. I think his American accent is probably the worst American accent I've ever heard in my entire life, but I don't even care because he was so good at being Eddie Brock. I was actually really surprised how much I liked him in that role because it seemed a little weird at first, but I just loved him and his interaction with Venom. It's like a buddy cop movie. It's so fun. It's hilarious. I laughed so much watching this movie, way more than I thought I would. I was really worried this was going to be some like 2005 angsty movie, kind of like Spider-Man 3. We don't talk about Spider-Man 3, but that's like the last Venom on screen we ever really got. So comparatively, this is like amazing. It does still kind of feel like a 2002 superhero movie, but I'm like pretty okay with it and I had a lot of fun. I think if it was just Eddie Brock or if it was just Venom, it wouldn't have been that good, but just the two of them, their chemistry together, their comedy, their banter, just listening to them talk to each other was really fun. It actually reminded me a lot of the movie Upgrade, which I reviewed kind of recently, and if you saw that movie, you will completely understand what I'm trying to say. It was very similar, where you have like this host who's not really in control of what's infecting him, and they're kind of talking back and forth, and he's like, oh, okay, we're doing this now, and he's like, yeah, okay, we're gonna do this now, and it's like, they're kind of controlling each other, and it's just really comical, and I'm so happy they made it funny, because I think if they didn't make this movie funny, it would have been really cheesy, really dumb. Don't get me wrong, it is still very cheesy. There's a lot of cheese. There are a lot of lines where I'm like, that's kind of silly, but I just love it so much that I don't even care. Like, Venom is so likable. I love the way they wrote Venom. He's such a interesting character. He's very similar to the way that he is in the comics, where he's kind of just not really aware of this world that he's in or how you're supposed to talk or interact with people. So he just kind of wings it, and even though he's not trying to be funny, he comes off as really funny because he just says things really weirdly. He says really weird things. He also kind of has a little bit of a sense of humor. It's just very entertaining to watch him grow and watch him interact with Eddie and interact with everyone else and how he impacts Eddie, and it's just so fun. I would just watch a whole movie of the two of them in a room, and I don't need anything else that happened in this movie. Like, the villain was very average, very like cookie cutter superhero villain. He did do a great job of making me hate him, which is great, but he wasn't like very memorable. I don't even remember what his name was. There are also a lot of just like ancillary characters, like people who come into the movie and then they just are forgotten. Like, just don't come back. It's like, okay, I guess we're not gonna talk about that. Jenny Slate's character, Dora, I really enjoyed her. She was really cute. She was like a nice little addition, though she wasn't like a huge role. I enjoyed her being there. There are kind of a lot of plot holes. There's a lot of stuff that happens and I'm like, wait, what? Nothing, this doesn't add up. But once again, I don't know, it was just so fun that I don't really mind. Is that bad? Like, Venom, not only was he funny and cheesy and a good character, he was also the coolest character I've ever seen. Like, Venom has always been so cool. His design is just awesome to look at. He's like terrifying and creepy and kind of Spider-Man-ish and just like so cool. And they made him look amazing in this movie. Like, the graphics aren't the best and there's definitely some green screen, but it's pretty damn good. And he was just awesome, like, ugh. And he was gigantic. I love that they made him big and burly the way that he's supposed to be and not like some little scrawny human-sized thing. Like, he's giant. And while this movie was like, the plot wasn't super great, it was kind of cookie cutter, it was still refreshing because it's not a superhero movie. Venom is not a superhero. Like, he murders people. He eats people's faces. And Eddie isn't really that great either, so they're kind of a good match. They work well together. They're anti-heroes. They are an anti-hero. Venom is an anti-hero. And it's really cool to have a protagonist that's dark and kind of terrible. It's fun. It was really fun. This movie has incredible action, so much action, but not like enough to where you're like, okay, is this like nothing but action? Because it's like really good action. There's like a really good car chase scene. There's just so much fun to be had with this movie. I know I keep saying that, but I just had so much fun. I think the trailer didn't make this movie look very good, and that's kind of upsetting because it just, I mean, it made me excited, but it didn't really portray the movie that I saw. Like, the trailer did not make me think this was going to be a funny buddy cop, but also awesome, dark movie. I will say, while it was really fun and humorous and enjoyable, it didn't really like hit home completely. Like I said, the plot isn't super great. It doesn't like pull at your heartstrings ever. Like, there are definitely opportunities where it could have done that and it just doesn't. It felt like it was missing something. There was like a little bit of a love story going on, but I never really fell for it. You definitely feel for Eddie and his character, but even that, like, I just felt like something was missing. It had the action, it had the comedy, it had the entertaining value, but it was missing that like tugging at your heart thing, which I know you don't really need, but if you see the movie, you'll understand that it does kind of need that a little bit, especially in one very particular scene that I don't want to spoil, but it definitely needed a little something. I don't know, I think it was just kind of charming. And I think they made it funny to avoid the cheese, and I enjoyed that. I had a really good time. If this movie came out in 2002, people would be going crazy. Everyone would love this movie. It's very like, I don't know, it's not very now, but I don't mind. I liked it. I'm definitely gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy it and I'm gonna own it and I'm gonna watch it. It's like one of those movies that you could watch over and over again, maybe throw on in the background. It's just fun. Kind of reminded me of Guardians of the Galaxy, like not as good as Guardians of the Galaxy, obviously, but I left feeling kind of the same emotion where I was like, wow, that was so much fun. I really enjoyed that. Yay. Like, it was just, I was like smiling and laughing throughout the whole movie, or just like being like, yes, Venom! I don't know. I thought it was really fun. I know it's not great. I know, I'm aware that it's not great, but it was just really fun. So I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5. If I was doing this as a critic, if you're curious, like just as a critic criticizing the merit of this film, I'd probably give it like a 2. Not gonna lie. But as a fan of Venom and as a fan of enjoying movies, I'm gonna give it a 3.5. So there you go. Thanks for watching my review. My name is Steph Koza. Be sure to subscribe if you have not subscribed already. And sign up for our Patreon if you'd like to join the Patreon chat room where I will be talking with you guys about this movie and talking about spoilers and all the things. I make a chat room for every single movie that I review. There's a link in the description. Just become a patron. You'll be invited to the chat room forever, and it's really fun. So thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.